Alrighty, what's poppin' everybody? Welcome in. This is BabyNation.com back here with another video, guys. Welcome back to Week 14 analytics predictions. We're here every single week breaking down every single game. Also give you guys my picks against the spread, over under picks, straight up picks, final score, breakdown of the game, all that stuff. So like I said, appreciate everybody for being here. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe button. Make sure you guys join the Discord, links in the description. Make sure you guys do follow me on Twitch at MuddyLord28 so you guys don't miss any future streams or uploaded videos. I will probably be live for tonight's Thursday night football game between the Cowboys and the Lions because there's a lot of playoff at stake here, and it's overall it's going to be a pretty close game. So there's a good chance I might be live for this game. So just in case I am, make sure you guys go check this out. Really would appreciate all of your support and love. Well, here we have a pretty, like I said, we have a pretty damn slate. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into things. Not too much time to fool around. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into it here. We had a 500 week last week. If you look around, we had a 500 week last week. It's got with 8-8 over picks, and then with 7-9 spread picks. I usually could have done a lot better, but this was another tough pick to pick everything over under picks. This is just another tough week. Last week was pretty difficult too. So and then regular picks and went 9 and 7 on the week. So I would like to do better there, but it is what it is. It's just what this NFL season's been. It's been unpredictable. So yeah, those on the left is what I've been doing all season long. Those on the right is the last week records, and it is what it is. Like I said, this season's absolutely stupid. So there's a possibility that it continues, but I think it's a good chance to continue. But like I said, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, join Discord, all that fun stuff, and then let's see who we got for Week 14. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive it in. Alright everybody, let's go ahead and get this started with this week. Like I said, we have a very tough slate this week. A lot of picks were it was just up in the air. I'm gonna tell you that right now. A lot of picks up in the air, just did not know what to do this week. But listen, we're gonna try to nail it out of the park this week. So kicking things off here with Thursday Night Football. Like I said, I might be live for this game, but we have the Cowboys visiting the Detroit Lions here. I think this one could go either way. Honestly, I went back and forth with this pick. Honestly, I think this I'm probably gonna snitch it out, but this is this week's trickiest game of the week. That's right, we have an award already coming out on Thursday Night Football. How rarely do we have that going on? But like I said, this was one of the hardest ones to pick for me this week because I can see this one going either way. Detroit can bounce back. I mean, they're coming off you can say a loss that they probably should have won, and probably should have beat the Packers on Thanksgiving, but they ended up losing on that. And then the Cowboys are rolling right now. They're red hot. I think they won like 4 out of the last 5. The team's playing really well. Their offense has been really well all season long. I'm a fan of the Cowboys team right now. I'm just a fan of them. I like the way how they're playing football right now. And when you look at the Lions, I really wanted to pick Detroit to win this game. I really wanted to, but I couldn't do it because of the injuries. It's just because Sam Laporte's already out on lineup, and then now only just that, you have him and Amon-Ra St. Brown. You see, he got injured last week and he's back. I'm pretty sure that's where it was. I don't think he's going to play in this game. I know he's listed as questionable right now, but I don't really see him playing. I don't see him playing in this game, so I'm not going to lean toward Detroit on this one. I'm actually going to take Dallas to win it. Plus, Dallas has been playing red hot. Dak Prescott's been a beast. He's been playing really well. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, and if you look at Detroit's defense, it's good up front, but what was Detroit's lack of is their secondary. Do tend to allow big plays every so often, but when you're playing against a team like Dallas, who's been on a trend offensively, who's probably been one of the better offensive teams in all of football this year, I just don't think Detroit. I don't. Plus, Detroit's kind of injured at corner too. When you look at cornerback position, safety, so I don't think Detroit really have the guys to cover CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and even Jake Ferguson, because Jake Ferguson, we've seen him at times that he can get active on the offensive attack here. So I just think the Lions defense has a lot to worry here. But the difference maker for me for this game is me asking myself both of these two teams are electric offensively, right? You can't deny that. It's almost a tie. It comes down to who I think is the better defensive team here, and which team I think that can deliver down the clutch. Detroit kind of struggled down the clutch with their defense last week against the Packers. You're playing against a better receiver core than the Packers and the Packers, which is the Cowboys. So I'm leaning towards Dallas. This one I'm going to take a 27-24. Overall, should be a great Thursday night football game. Can't wait to watch this one. With Dallas plus 3.5, I mean, I feel pretty good about that. Wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't bet it because I do think Detroit can win this. Detroit doesn't really lose back-to-back games, so that part of me is a slight risk. So, but I'm not gonna bet anything with this game when it comes down to anything particular. Under 54.5, I mean that one could go either way. I can see both teams just lighting it up on the scoreboard in this game to be like a 34-30 game or something like that. But I'm gonna lean towards this light under. I think Dallas can maybe keep Detroit maybe somewhat limited offensively. And Detroit, I think they'll do good up front, so that's going to rely on Dak Prescott throwing the ball a lot. So I think they'll just score 27. I'm going to hit this light under in this one. But like I said, it should be a great Thursday night football game. I cannot wait to watch this. I'm going to lean towards Dallas Cowboys in this one. Next up, we have Seattle taking on against the Atlanta Falcons. I'll go ahead and keep this one pretty short here. I think this one's going to be an ass whooping. It's not the ass beating of the week. It was close, but this is not the ass beating of the week. I have another game in mind that could be my ass beating of the week, but this one it very much could be. And I know I'm kind of taking a risk of not having this as the ass beating of the week because it's Seattle versus Atlanta. Atlanta's coming off of a pretty. I mean, like I said last week, I don't think Atlanta really had a reason to lose last week to the Jets, but they did. I think they just lost that game for absolutely no reason. And it's not just that. You're playing against a team like Seattle. I don't want to be wrong here. I mean, whoever loses this game is going to help the Rams out regardless. I already talked about my pick show yesterday, but yeah, like I said, I think this one's just short and simple here. I know JSN did not have a big day last week. I think he beats the living shit out of the Falcons. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's just a team advantage when Seattle. Seattle's the better birds here. They should be able to win this one pretty comfortably. I'm gonna say 31-14, kind of like an ass beating type game. Not really expecting this game to be close. Seattle should be able to cover the points there, 7.5. I know that's kind of big for a team that's on the road, but the more I think about it, I think I'm more comfortable with like Seattle win this game outright. So I feel more comfortable about taking Seattle with the spread here at minus 7.5, and I'll take the over at 44.5. I feel pretty good about that. I think Seattle will do a lot of scoring on this one. They could potentially be a lot more scoring than I'm predicting here at 31. I can easily see them throwing up like 34, 37. So I'm not gonna get too ridiculous though. I'll go 31-14 here. Seattle on cruise control, but Sam Darnold does have to play better though. If he plays better, I think they can throw up this number. If not, I do think there's a chance that this game gets the under, but I'm not going to predict that. And Atlanta, I just don't know what Atlanta's identity is. I don't think they're going to do anything against that defense. Maybe they're probably going to rely a lot on Bijan Robinson, and I know he's good to rely on, but I don't know if you're going to do that against Seattle. I don't know if that's the opponent that you really want to rely on. So yeah, I'll take Seattle to win this 31-14. Should be a pretty cruise control game here for Seattle. Next up, we have Tennessee going into Cleveland here. I'm going to take Cleveland to win this game 17-10. It just feels like another boring game here. It just feels like a game that I really don't have any expectations for either team here. Obviously, both teams' offenses are shit. They're dreadful. They're hard to watch. Might be one of the worst offensive games that you can ever watch in the NFL. I think I recently looked at it. I think the tickets to this game are $8, which is absolutely insane. Well, I can see it because both teams are shit. But anyway, here I'm going to take Cleveland here, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows why. Well, let's just go ahead and admit it. This is the worst game of the week. I'm pretty sure everybody saw that coming, but anyway here, I'm going to take Cleveland 17-10, and the only reason is I trust their defense. I trust their defense more than anything that I trust in Tennessee. Offense, defense, special teams, like I rather trust Cleveland's defense to go out there and win it than other than like trusting either. Like I don't trust either offense. Sure, Shador has looked pretty decent over the last couple. He looked pretty decent last week, so maybe that plays into factor here. But I'm not going to trust it here. I'm not going to trust Tennessee. I'm not going to trust Tennessee's defense without Shador. I mean, I think they will limit him, but I don't think they're going to stop him. I don't think that's going to happen. Just me pointing out here. I don't trust anything what's going on with Tennessee right now. Don't trust anything what's going on down there once and forever. I think Cleveland wins this game outright with their defense. Myles Garrett might have like 5 sacks in this game. Like there's a good chance he does have that. I think he'll have a good outing. Brown defense should be able to win the game for him. Cleveland minus 4.5 I feel pretty good about because I think they can win this game with their defense. And even if they do have to rely on their offense, they should be able to have more offensive weapons to get past Tennessee. Like Jordan Fanning and David Njoku, those two tight ends. Junkins, the running back. I think I also trust the Browns a little bit more offensively than I do in Tennessee right now. Like I said, I just don't trust anything with Tennessee. I don't really trust that team. So I'm gonna go Cleveland with the spread. I think they cover that 4.5. I'm not surprised that they're not favored more than that, but I think that's a pretty easy one for me there. I'll take Cleveland with the points. And then under 33.5, that one could be a little risky, because if you really think about it, like under 33.5, at some point the lines are so low that you gotta say, oh my god, like they have to score. You have to score that many points, right? You have to get at least above 33.5 before they're 4. But this is one of those games I just don't see it. I don't see enough offense to where I can put it at over 33.5. So I'll take the under with this one at 33.5. But Cleveland's defense should have a big day here. I'm going to take the Browns at home with that defense. I think they mollywop on Tennessee's offense, I should say. Next up, we have Washington taking on against Minnesota here. I'm going to take Washington to win this game. I'm going to go 23-16 here. And there's actually a couple good reasons behind it. Number one, Washington's coming off a good performance against a really good team last week. They played the Denver Broncos on prime time, and they did not disappoint. I mean, what did they lose? They only lose by 1 point. What was it, 28-27 overall? That was a pretty good damn game, and I was actually impressed in Washington keeping that game close. I had Denver with covering the points, but they didn't. I mean, Washington kept it with the 1. They battled hard. Their offense came back to life. Terry McLaurin, ever since he came back last week, he looked pretty damn good. So I was impressed with Washington last week. Even though and in Minnesota, there's nothing to talk about for Minnesota last week. Nothing to talk about. They ended up getting their asses kicked by Seattle, which was kind of expected, because Seattle was a better team. Everybody knew Seattle was a better team going in. But I will say this about Minnesota. However, I will say this: their defense played well. I know they lost 26-0. I know 26 points are saying like you just got completely dominated. Your defense to do nothing in there. But if you guys actually watched that game, their defense played better too. I was actually impressed about what Minnesota, because they held good receivers like JSN. Now what do you have, only 2 catches or something like that. So yeah, I give credit to this Minnesota defense, and I do think they can do the same thing here for Washington. But so that point of me was like going towards Minnesota. Plus, in the bank is not an easy place to play in, especially kind of not decent team going in there. But the difference, I think overall, I think this game will be close. I think it'll be hard fighting. It should be entertaining. Well, it's not entertaining defensively wise, but not really expecting too much offense here. That's why I went with the under here, 42.5. I don't see a scenario how because Minnesota put up a really good defensive performance last week against Seattle, even though they lost, and then Washington's defense is originally really bad. So me thinking about that, I was going to go with the over. But before last week, they actually put up a pretty good, decent fight with the Broncos. Yes, they started a lot of points, but they hung in there, and I think, and that was just the deciding factor for me to go with the Commanders. Plus the Commanders, plus Washington has done a really good job of like keeping good games close. And I think the real difference maker for me was who can I go out there and trust to win a game, Marcus Mariota or JJ McCarthy. Right now, I'm going Marcus Mariota. I trust him more to win a game out for me, so I'm gonna go Washington with that factor. So he almost got it done last week, so I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna trust him over JJ McCarthy in this matchup. I think Washington wins the game. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not too surprised at Washington underdogs here, but I was just shocked once I first saw Minnesota favorite. Like, how the hell can you favor Minnesota? Their offense put up a donut last week, and it's just whatever. So yeah, trustworthy. I'm gonna go with the Commanders. I think this game will be close, but I trust the Commanders down the stretch here, so I'm going to take Washington with a narrow victory here. Alright, next up we have the Dolphins going into the Jets. The Jets are wearing those rival uniforms. Can't wait to see that. I think it looks pretty damn good for them. Honestly, I think that should be the logo moving forward, but it's not. Anyway, here in this game, I'm going to take the Dolphins. I'm going to win this game 24-18. But however, I'm not feeling too comfortable about it, and there's a couple of reasons why I think you guys should not be feeling too comfortable about this pick. Number one, they're playing in New York. This game is not in Miami. It's playing in New York. It's going to be cold. The Dolphins don't normally play well in the cold, so that part of me was like, okay, maybe I do think the Jets can squeak this one out. But at the same time, the Jets, I mean, they've been awful. I mean, sure they won last week. I don't think I don't think they should have won that game. I think that was an undeserving win for the Jets last week against Atlanta. Sure that their offense showed up. Tyrod Taylor's actually been. If I'm being honest, I think the Jets' offense looks a lot better with Tyrod Taylor under center than Justin Fields. To be completely honest, I think they've been moving the ball more effectively. But in this game here, I got to go with the Dolphins. I think they won this game 24-18 here. I'm expecting a close game here. I mean, absolutely could be wrong. Actually, I think this is actually one of the riskier picks of the week, according to me, because like I said, Dolphins are playing in the cold. They don't play well in the cold. That's just a fact. They don't play well in the cold. They're not used to it, so I understand it. But I trust Miami here. Their defense has been playing a lot better as of late, and I do think they can limit Tyrod Taylor. Listen, they're not going to stop him because Miami. I mean, Miami's been a good defensive team over the course of the year, but they're not going to stop Tyrod Taylor. I think they can limit Tyrod Taylor. They can limit his Jets offense. So I don't think they're going to have Garrett Wilson back. So I think they're going to rely a lot on Breece Hall, on Mason Taylor to get the job done here. And we look into Miami. I think Jalen Wild's been fantastic. They have guys that are stepping up, making some big plays down there on offense. So I just trust Miami more as a team here. But something's telling me like the Jets, they can win this one, or they can keep this one real close. Like this was actually close with them being my 1 point game of the week, and take the Jets with the points because I can see the Jets winning, but now I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I trust that team a little bit more. Tua's probably start playing a little bit better, and the Dolphins, like I said, they have to start. Well, they start winning it. They have to keep winning games. They want to stay alive in that playoff race. So I'm gonna go, or even have a chance at it. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins win this game. I'll go 24-18 here. I'm going to lean towards a slight over at 41.5. That's just another one I can see going either way. I could be wrong about that pick, but I'm going to lean towards a slight over at 41.5. Not feeling too comfortable about that. And, Dolphins with the points -2.5. I think it's just a little bit too low for me to pick the Jets. Other than you probably have them winning the game here. So I trust the Dolphins a little bit more. Should be a pretty entertaining game for the most part, but I'll take Miami. I trust their team a little bit more in this one. Next up, we have the Saints taking on against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. I mean, I think this one, I'm going to go pretty short with this one. I'm going to take, of course, I'm going to take the Bucs to win this game. I'm going to go like 28-13, something like that. I just don't trust the Saints. I just look at the Saints team and I just don't trust them. The Saints are awful. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL. I'm not going to trust anything that's going on with the Saints right now. Offense, defense. Now, no Chris Olave. No, that's one thing that you can say about New Orleans that's been pretty effective for them this year. Chris Olave's been pretty damn good for them recently. So I do think that the Saints might be able to put up more than 13 points. And honestly, I'm not going to be shocked if they like put up like 20 points, something like that. But it's just hard to imagine me too. I think the Bucs defense have been playing really good as of late. They played pretty good damn defense last week. They only held the Cardinals to like 17 points under Jacoby Brissett when what I talked about. I think Jacoby Brissett has been slinging the rock. I think he's been looking pretty good while doing it. So if they can hold Jacoby Brissett for 13 points, I don't think the Saints are going to score more than that. So I got the Bucs winning this game somewhat comfortably. I'm going to go 28-13 here. It's a division rival game, so that part of me is like leaning towards the Saints with the points. But more I think about it, I expect Tampa Bay to run his team out the building. I'm kind of expecting here. Baker Mayfield, I think he's going to go back to his way he's been playing beginning of the season. This is the right game to do it. You're playing against the Saints, who are obviously one of the worst teams in football. You should be able to have a chance to redeem that. So I do think you will. Plus the Bucs are getting some guys back. They get Bucky Irving back. Maybe Chris Godwin's back. Who did I say? Mike Evans. He returned to practice, so maybe you get him back. I'm not expecting him to be back this week, but I mean this will be a good chance for him to come back, playing against one of the worst teams in football. But I think he'll come back like either next week or the week after that. So yeah, I'm going to look towards Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they should be able to win this game. They should be able to cover that 8.5 points. I was recently thinking about taking the Saints with there, but the more I think about it, it's like they're getting more healthier. If the Bucs were banged up with like Chris Godwin still out, Bucky Irving still back, okay, maybe I might take the Saints with the points. But since the guys look back and look pretty good last week, I'm going to go ahead and take Tampa with the points there. And then over 42.5, I feel pretty good about that. I think the Buccaneers can light the scoreboard. And even if they don't, I think the Saints, if they keep this one close like they do, they've been fighting all season long, they should be able to score more in predicting here. They might score like 17, 20, something like that. So I'm going to take the over 42.5. But yeah, this one should be a easy control game. Have the Bucs taking care of business here and staying on top in that division. Next up here, we have one of the better games of the week. Honestly, it's not the best game of the week award, but it was up there. We have the Colts playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars here. I'm gonna take the Jags here. I'm gonna take them 24-21 here. Indy's starting to fall apart a little bit. They didn't really play too good. I mean, they lost their last three. What did they lose? 3 out of the last 4, and including they ended up losing last week to the Houston Texans. I think I kind of had that right on the nose by saying that Houston's offense can say. I think I said last week that Houston's defense. I mean, they won't stop the Colts, but they can limit the Colts, and I think that's exactly what they did. They didn't stop them, but they limit them to at somewhat of degree here. But I just don't know when I'm gonna get it. I don't know how healthy Daniel Jones is. I don't know how healthy the man is. If he's healthy, I like him in this game. I like him in the matchup with especially playing against Jacksonville. But the real reason I'm gonna go Jacksonville is I actually try for right now in the moment. I think Jacksonville, it has the coaching to keep them in every single game. And when you take a look at Jacksonville, and I'm actually I saw a recent history here. I don't think the Jags have lost to the Colts in Jacksonville since like 10 11 years, something like that, if I remember. So yeah, I'm gonna go Jacksonville. They're wearing the throwbacks here. They're at home. This was a tough game for me to pick this week, guys. This was a tough one. I think this one could go either way. I think anybody can win it, but I'm gonna lean towards the Jags. I love what I'm seeing for the coaching. I love what I'm seeing out of their offense. And as long as they can move the ball and run the ball downfield, I think as long as their offense keeps playing at the level that they're playing at right now, I think they can win it. So I'm gonna take Jacksonville here. Kind of a slight upset. I can see the Colts winning. Probably the Colts should win this game. Jonathan Taylor could. At the same time, the Jags defend the run really well. So I can see them. This is just another game that I can see Jonathan Taylor being limited. Like I say, they won't stop him because that's impossible. They won't stop him, but I do think they'll limit him. And as of right now, I trust the Jags defense more than the Colts. I think that was my deciding factor. Like, which defense do I trust more? Not one of those games. I'm going to trust Jacksonville more. But anyway, this should be a pretty entertaining game for the most part here. 24-21. I'm going to lean towards Jacksonville. I trust Trevor Lawrence in this game. At home in Jacksonville in the throwbacks, I'm going to take him here. But this game could go either way. Pick you 1-2 here. And I believe in our pick show, we had a 50-50 pick and spread here. I think we have a good old-fashioned split, so I can see it. But so for this game, I'm gonna lean towards the under in this one, 47.5. Another over/under pick that's pretty tricky for me to pick this week. But I'm gonna just go with the slight under here. But I can see that going either way. I think 47.5 is a little bit too greedy, kind of like the Detroit and Dallas game. I think it's a little too greedy for me to pick the over. And then Jacksonville plus 1.5. Like I said, this could be a squeaker. I think it's gonna be a close game here. But Jacksonville, gonna go with the home team here. So I'm going to take Jacksonville for the win. Now we have Baltimore going into Pittsburgh here. I think this one could be pretty close. I'm not going to lie. I think this one might be pretty entertaining here. I think the Steelers can hang around with Baltimore. I'm not going to lie. Baltimore has not been playing well as of late. Yeah, they're winning games, but like I said, even when Baltimore was winning, I've never been impressed in their wins. I haven't been impressed, and I think that showed last week when they actually lost to a team that they were supposed to beat last week. So yeah, I was very disappointed about the Ravens' performance last week. I think they easily, I think they lost a game that they had no reason to lose in. And then the Steelers, man, their offense looked pitiful last week. It looked bad. It looked like one of the worst. I mean, that might have been one of the worst offensive performances I think I've seen from the Steelers, and who knows how long. Like it was bad, and I do think they will somewhat bounce back here. I do not think that's what the Steelers are in long term. I refuse to believe that. I don't know how Aaron Rodgers is. I don't know. He just got banged up again last week after they got their asses kicked against the Buffalo Bills last week. So I don't know how he's going to be feeling in this game. If I have to think, if I have to guess, I do think he might be out for this game. But I don't think that's not going to, I mean, even if he's in, I don't think that's going to change my outcome here. Baltimore just feels like the more complete team right now. They feel like a team that just means more depth for him. Like the vision is met for them to win. I'm going to go Baltimore here. I'm going to take them 27-21. This game could get a little bit interesting here, but I'm not going to say it. That's why it was kind of tricky for me to pick the spread in this one. You go Baltimore 5.5. Okay, you might think that's a respectable line. But the question is, do you fall for it? Because you know, in these division games, it can go either way. If this game was in Pittsburgh and I see Baltimore fair by 5.5, I would honestly take the Steelers with that one at plus 5.5. If this game was in Pittsburgh and the Ravens were favored by that much, but because I think that because playing in Pittsburgh, Lamar Jackson does have a history of playing, kind of struggling in Pittsburgh. So, but yeah, this game is in Baltimore. I think Baltimore will do just enough to slight edge it out. So I'm going to take Baltimore with the points there. But that's another one I can see going away. Man, I do think the Steelers offense will bounce back in a degree. And their defense, I don't know what's going on. Like I said, the Steelers are too inconsistent. Too inconsistent for me to pick them here. Even though the Ravens have been winning, like I said, they've been more consistent. But like I said, I've never been impressed in the Ravens wins. Lamar Jackson still looks a little bit off. Their offense still looks a little bit off. But their defense is starting to play much better than what it was in the beginning of the season here. So I'm going to trust them to win this game at home here. It could go either way here, but I'm going to lean towards the Baltimore here. Over 42.5. I do think we see just enough offense to hit that over, so I'm going to go with that. And then Baltimore minus 5.5 here. So I'm feeling semi-confident about each one of these things that I said here, but not completely too confident. Kind of want to, I don't know, I don't want to get too greedy on myself because Lamar Jackson has not been himself. I do think we start seeing that Lamar Jackson getting himself is coming down the stretch and later on in the year. So could be an entertaining game here. Who knows? But I'm going to be taking the Baltimore Ravens here at home. All right, next up we got the Bengals taking on against the Buffalo Bills here. I'm going to lean towards the Bills in this one. I'm going to take them 31-27. This is going to be an excellent game. This is going to be a shootout. This is going to be whatever you call it, but this is going to be a hell of a game here. I think this one could go either way here. It's in Buffalo. That's why that's kind of like my deciding factor here. If I'm going to go with the Bills, this is in Buffalo. I'm going to give them the side edge here, but I think this one could go either way. Like you're really thinking about it, because the Bills, yeah, they picked up a win. They smacked the ass out of the Steelers last week, which was, they kind of needed a game like that, but they did that. They impressed me by doing that, and now you got to go home playing against a Cincinnati team. But this is not going to be easy, because even though we're kind of expecting the Bills to throw a whole bunch of points, Josh Allen will do his thing, James Cook will do his thing. He should be able to do his thing against this terrible Cincinnati run defense. But at the same time, Cincinnati's going to come in here desperate. Like Cincinnati, it just feels like if they want to have a chance to even make the playoffs, they have to win out, and that's not an impossible, especially with their schedule coming up. It's not impossible. Yeah, they're playing against a lot of tough teams in that stretch, but it's not impossible for them. I will say that it's not impossible for them. I do think they can do it, but I'm going to have them barely falling short in this one. I'm going to have them 31-27. But however, I will take Cincinnati with the points plus 5.5, because I know Cincinnati's going to come in here desperate. I know they have to, because like I said, they have to win every single game. It feels like if they want to have a chance to even make it in the playoffs. So I think they do whatever it takes here to win. That's why I'm going to take them with the points here. And I can see Cincinnati win this game, because Joe Burrow looked pretty damn good last week. The defense looked a lot better last week. Does that trend continue? Do their defense continue to play that good? I'm not going to count on that, so I'm going to lean towards Buffalo for that reason here. But I do think the Bengals should be able to score a bunch of points like they did last week, and plus they get T. Higgins back. I don't know the status of T. Higgins, but maybe they do get him back this week. But regardless, here they put up a good performance last week. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow looks fully connected again back together again. I think they can light up this Bills defense, and at the same time I can see the Bills lighting up the Bengals defense. So that's why I'm going to go here 31-27. Great game, but I'm going to lean towards the Bills here at home. I'm gonna over 53.5. If I'm being completely honest, I'm betting that. I'm betting that. I'm putting out a parlay. Whatever options you want to use there, but I do think this game should be able to hit the 53.5, and let's go ahead and call it. This is the best game of the week. I think everybody knows what's coming. But like I said, great game here. Could go either way. I'm going to lean towards the Bills in the mob. If this game is in Cincinnati, I might be more engaged for me to pick the Bengals. I was getting ready to. If this game was in Cincinnati, I probably would have picked the Bengals, but it's at home. It's in the Bills. The Bills have been a little bit too inconsistent at times too. So let's see how they perform. Overall, this should be a hell of a game. I'm just kind of surprised this is not a primetime game at the least, but I'm going to go with the Bills here. But this is going to be an epic game. Alrighty, next up we have Denver taking on against the Las Vegas Raiders here. I gotta go Denver. Like I said, I think this one's another short. Not too much that we need to explain here about this one. Denver should be able to win this game 30-13. I don't see this game being close once and forever. Vegas' offense looks fucking terrible. It looks like one of the worst offenses I think I've seen in a long time. Their defense is terrible and their offense is terrible. It's like the Vegas has no motivation for the rest of the year. They have no motivation. It just feels like Vegas wants to lose out, and actually I don't blame them. Their team's already bad enough. Even Brock Bowers had a sensational. Give credit to Brock Bowers. I mean, he made a sensational catch last week, but I just see a hard time this Raiders team scoring against this Denver defense. Yeah, Denver's defense was a little overwhelming last week. They didn't really play to their high stated. Yeah, they did win against the Commanders, but to be completely honest, they kind of got lucky that they won that game against the Commanders. They probably should have lost that. Just the way they've been playing, they probably should have lost that game against the Commanders last week. But they're the better team here than the Raiders here. I'm going to trust their defense to bounce back here. I can see the Commanders scoring points. And Marcus Mariota, I talked about all the time. He is a capable backup that can lead you down the field and win you some games every now and then. So I can see it, but playing against Geno Smith, the Broncos defense should be able to have a bounce back here. I do think they should be able to take advantage of all these turnovers, stuff like that. This should force multiple turnovers on Vegas. I can see Vegas turn the ball over like 2 or 3 times in this game. Like I said, Denver's the better team, and I'm gonna say this is my ass beating of the week here. It's kind of a tough one for me to pick here, but out all the games here, I feel comfortable about this one being the ass beating of the week. I don't see any scenarios how Vegas keeps this game close, or even with their offense of Brock Bowers, Nash, and Genty. The Broncos defense should be able to bounce back here. The Broncos are so much worse. The Raiders are so much worse an offensive team than Washington, I would think. So that part of me is like, yeah, okay, Denver's defense should bounce back. They should be able to kick the shit out of the Raiders here. And the Broncos offense, like I said, they put up points. They put up 28 points last week. I have them at 30 in this game, and I can see them throwing to like 31, 34 or something like that. So I'll take the Broncos. It should be another cruise control game here. Should be by the Denver Broncos. So I'm gonna take them to win this game. Denver minus 7.5. I'm kind of surprised that they're not favored more than that. I know it's a division rival on the road here, but I'm surprised they're not favored by that. I thought they could be favored by at least 11.5, something like that. But yeah, I'll take Denver with that, and then over 40.5. Could be a little tricky because Denver's offense has been a little bit inconsistent this year, but I trust them. I trust this game to get over that 40.5. I think that's a little bit too small for me to pick the under, so I'll go with the over in this one. But like I said, Denver should be able to kick ass here. Now we have the Bears playing against the Green Bay Packers, man. Oh my God, this is going to be a hell of a game here. I cannot wait to watch this game. Could go back and forth here. I'm in going back and forth. Honestly, this was very close to being my best game of the week. This was very close because when you're thinking about it, I think this is the second best game this week. My best game of the week was the Bills versus Bengals. I can see that game being chaotic. It's going to be a lot of scoring here, but good league, like this. If I had like the best game part and the best game of the week part 2, it would be this one. I think both of these two teams out here have been playing substantially well as of late. You talk about the Bears, like they're winning games and they're winning games consistently now. And it maybe looks like an ass because the Bears are leading the NFC right now. And I talked about it even in the beginning of the year. I was like, I don't know if I can trust the Bears because this team is so inconsistent. The Bears they're finally getting consistent. They're getting some consistency up in there. So I'm gonna give the Bears a lot of credit here. They've been looking pretty damn good these last couple of weeks and overall in the season. Like they're 9-3, they're first place in the NFC. So give a lot of credit to the Bears and what they have done this year. I think it's been incredible what they've been done. Ben Johnson, gotta give a lot of credit to him. He probably should be the coach of the year at this point. He's been playing pretty damn well. Look at the Packers here. The Packers are playing really well as well. They're playing well. They're starting to find a groove a little bit. They're starting to find more consistency. That's why I've been trying to look for the Packers as of late, trying to see if they're consistent on both sides of the ball, and I think we're starting to see that a little bit now. But this game here, I'm gonna lean towards Green Bay in this one, 28-23. The only reason why I really took Green Bay is because they're at home. That's basically the only reason I could go up with here. No, and like I said, I know these are just the first time that these two teams are meeting up, and I'm kind of expecting them to switch once they get back to once they get back to Soldier Field in Chicago. So yeah, that part of it was like me leaning towards the Packers with this one, and that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take the win this game 28-23. Overall, this should be a pretty fun game. Bears offense have been lighting it up. Packers offense have been lining it up. Bears defense has been bad over the course of at times, but it looks like they've been getting a lot better in that department. Packers defense looks really good right now. So and then the Packers, they put up a good performance last week. I'm not gonna say the performance was bad. Yeah, I mean, wait, who they even play last week? I completely forgot who they played last week, but they put up a good effort last week. Actually, no, the Packers. The Packers. They put up a good performance against the Lions last week. They ended up winning that game. The Bears ended up taking down the Eagles, but like I said, I was impressed with the Bears last week, especially last week. When you go into Philadelphia, you take out the Eagles like that. That's impressive. So, not very a lot of teams can do that in the NFL. Going to Philadelphia, beat the Eagles, beat the defending champs in their own house. Like that's pretty damn impressive. So that part of me is leaning towards the Bills because I trust Caleb Williams now. I trust that offense now. But I'm gonna go with the Packers. I'm gonna take them to win this game 28-23. Like just because it's in Lambeau Field. If this game was in Soldier Field in Chicago, I would have picked the Packers. But one thing I am gonna go with here. I'm gonna go with the spread pick of Chicago plus 6.5. I think that's too many points for a team that's been playing really well as of late. Plus, I think the Bears can win this game. I think they have a good opportunity to win this game. So that part of me was just leaning towards the Bears to cover this. I think they can easily cover that 6.5. It's not gonna be easy, but I do think they should be able to cover that 6.5 there. I feel pretty comfortable about that. So kind of like saying my reasoning there, like I said. So Bears offense, Bears can easily win this game. I'm going to take them with the points over 44.5. I think that's a gift. I think that's a freebie there. Both of the two teams shouldn't really have too much problems going to football here, so I'll take the over 44.5. Should be a very entertaining game for the most part, but I'll take the Packers at home. Like I said, if the game was in Chicago, I would have picked the Bears, but it's not. I'll take Green Bay here. Now we got my Los Angeles Rams taking on against the Arizona Cardinals here. I don't know how I'm feeling about this game. I've been completely honest. I do not know how I'm feeling in this game. So first and foremost, like I think I'm gonna trust my boys to win it, right? Like I think my Rams should be able to win this game. But at the same time, I said that last week and they lost to the Carolina Panthers, and people were roasting me in the both people were roasting me. Well, not really in the comments, but in real life, I was saying, okay, the Rams ended up losing to the Cardinals here. I mean, can I see us losing to the Cardinals? I mean, can I see us losing to the Panthers last week? Yes, because the Panthers were actually, I mean, I don't know if I said this in my Atlanta predictions video last week, but the Panthers are a really good home team. And that part of it was like, okay, maybe I can see the Rams losing. And, every good team, and this is what happens to every good team. You can't tell me no here. Every good team has an off week. And I think the Rams were, even though the Rams were lost last week, in their defense kind of have an off week, because when was the last time we've seen the Rams defense perform that bad? I don't think we've seen that in a very long time. Probably since Philadelphia in week 3. I think that's the last time we watched the Rams defense play really bad. But, they played well in the first half of that game. But anyway, here, I'm going to trust my Rams to bounce back here. I think we get back on track. This should be a pissed-off version of my Los Angeles Rams here. Matthew Stafford didn't really play well last week, but like I said, that was the first time he played. That's the first time he did this since week 3, week 2. So yeah, I think he gets back on track here. I think he throws multiple touchdowns in this game. He should be able to line them up. The Cardinals, however, have been playing pretty. Maybe not they've been losing, but they've been playing like winners. Like they'll hang around, they'll make you work, and that's why I'm kind of worried here about the Rams. You're on the road again. You're playing against the Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals the Rams are the better team. They should be able to win this game. The defense should be able to bounce back here. But I'm gonna give the Cardinals 20 points. I do believe that Jacoby Brissett can sling the ball down the field on the Rams, especially on the secondary, where I do think that is the Rams' main weakness on defense. So if you're able to throw the ball down the field, and the Rams do have to watch out for Trey McBride in this game. I'll let you guys know about that right now. How I'm feeling as a Rams fan, I do think we have to watch out for Trey McBride in this game because he has been an absolute beast. I do not know if Marvin Harrison Jr. is playing in this game. I do not know. We'll see. We'll continue to monitor that this week. Maybe I could change here, but I'm not going to change anything here. I think the Rams defense bounced back. I think last game was just a fluke. I think they should be able to win this game. So I'm going to go 34-20. That score just feels kind of odd for me to pick, but I'm going to do it because I think the Rams offense can bounce back. Even though they lost last week to the Panthers without calling off night, they were still able to score 28 points. So I believe they can score more in this one. I'm going to go 34 here in this one. And yeah, in the Cardinals, like I said, I'm going to give him 20 points because even Jacoby Brissett, he looked pretty damn good. Like, he can sling the rock to his receivers. So I gave a lot of respect to Arizona. I think they're a pretty decent offensive team here. And like I said, they will make you work. They will make you work for the win. They'll make you compete. They won't go away. They won't ever go away. But I'm not gonna pick them here. I'm gonna take the Rams here. They're the better team, better offense. Should be able to win the game. Got to keep pace. We got to keep up with Seattle or keep pace with Seattle. So I'm gonna take them to win. Over 48.5. I said that could be a little bit too greedy, but honestly, here I think we're gonna see a lot of offense in this one. I'll take the over. And then Rams minus 7.5. That one could be a little tricky there, but I'm leaning more comfortably with the Rams covering that with -7. Like I said, this should be a good game here. Expect a lot of scoring in this one, but the Rams are the better team, therefore they should be able to win the game. But watch out for Trey McBride. Alright, everybody, now we have Sunday Night Football where we have the Kansas City Chiefs playing against the Houston Texans here. I'm going with the Chiefs 21-20, and I think this is my 1-point game of the week. I was thinking about it, and I know I have a lot of explaining here to do about this game, but this is my 1-point game of the week. So what I'm saying here is I think Kansas City is going to win this game, and there are multiple reasons why I think Kansas City is going to win this game. But at the same time, Houston can win this game. I can see anybody winning this game. This is a Sunday Night Football game that a lot of playoffs are at stake here. So for Kansas City, they have not really been themselves. Like I said yesterday in the pick show, who would ever think that the Kansas City Chiefs? Hold up, my screen's kind of predicting. Okay, there it is. It's back. So who would ever think that Kansas City would be 6-6 going into week? What is it, 14 now? It's kind of unpredictable. It's unreasonable. I kind of had no reason to happen either, but it did. But anyway, here I'm going to take KC 21-20 here. I don't think the Chiefs are done. I don't think so. I refuse to believe it. I don't think that they're going to go out there easily. I do think that they are still the AFC champs, defending AFC champs that we have seen time and time again. And I think we're going to start seeing the history of time and time again. And the Chiefs are kind of like in the same situation with Cincy. Like they have to win out if they want to have a chance to make it to the playoffs. Already the division's kind of fucked. They're not going to catch up to Denver. They're not going to catch up to the Chargers here. So they're going to have to settle for third place. So if they can get a second, but the Chargers have to lose games. But anyway, I gotta take the Chiefs here. I got a 21-20. I just refuse to believe that they're done, and their offense could be in trouble here. They're playing against probably one of the league's best defenses in Houston Texans, who just love to beat. Their defense love to beat the shit out of people. So that part of me was like, okay, maybe I might go Houston, but because I don't know, this was a tough one to pick me. I was getting ready to pick Houston to win this game. I was getting ready to, but I just refuse to believe that the Chiefs are done. I think they'll do whatever it takes here to win the game. It will be close. It will be close scoring. Like I said, this is by 1-point game of the week here. I'm going to go with KC. They win this game 21-20, but like I tell you, this is not going to be an easy game. And if Houston wins this game because of their defense, I can absolutely see it, and that's why I'm going to take them with the points here. I'm going to take Houston plus 3.5 because they can very easily win this game too. Like this could be a very easy win for the Texans, just because their defense goes out there and dominate and limits Patrick Mahomes, limit that receiving game, Travis Kelce too. So that part of me was like, okay, I'm going to take Houston with the points. I'm actually going to feel pretty good about it for that reason, though. But I'm going to take KC for the win. They win this one 23-20. I think 21-20. I think this one could go either way here. It's going to be a fun showing for both teams. It's going to be fun. It's going to be competitive, a Sunday football game. Like I said, I just don't think the Chiefs are done. I just refuse to believe it. So I'm going to go with KC, but will take Houston with the points. And I'm going to take the under 41.5. I know I have this game at 41, but I'm going to lean towards a slight under because I do think there's a chance that the Texans do limit their defense. And I do think their offense, I don't think their offense is going to score a whole bunch of points. KC's a pretty good defensive team too. And they're at home. I think that was another difference maker for me. KC is pretty damn good at home this year. They're 5-1 at home this year. Houston. If this game is in Houston, I will lock Houston. And we're going to talk about that more when we get to the Monday Night Football game. But I want to go with the Chiefs to win this game, 21-20. Like I said, if this game was in Houston, I would very much lock the Texans here. But it's in KC. They should be able to get the job done here. But man, I'm not going to say should. Like they might be able to get the job done here. But like I said, this is a 50-50 game. Could go either way. I'm leaning KC though. But this game is going to be a very excellent game. And last but not least, guys, we have Monday Night Football here. We got the Chargers battling it out here with the Philadelphia Eagles here. I'm gonna take the Chargers. I think they win this game 23-20 here. And there's some injury concerns that we have to worry about here. Also, we gotta worry about Justin Herbert. Even though I think he's gonna play. Overall, I do think Justin Herbert is gonna play in this game. It has been also Hampton for the Chargers, the running back. I do think he has a good chance of coming back in this game as well, which I do think that will help the Chargers because that guy's been absolutely great for the Chargers until he got hurt, which, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that he got hurt. But anyway, here, I'm going to lean LA, actually. I'm going to go with the slight upset here. I'm going to take the Chargers here 23-20. And the only reason I'm going to do this because I don't really trust Philly's offense right now. Philly's offense looks way too suspicious for me right now. It just looks... It's just when you look at it, like, how can I trust? Like, you played okay against the Bears. You did not play that well against the Bears. I don't think the Eagles had a really good offensive performance since like 2-3 weeks ago. That offense is just questionable, man. I just don't trust this offense at all. And you're playing against an LA Chargers defense. Chargers defense has been pretty damn good on the season. I've been very impressed with the Chargers defense. I don't think they're going to be as good as they are, but they are. This game is in LA, which I do think that's another huge boost. It's in LA, and the Chargers in SoFi Stadium. Eagles got to go on a long trip. Now, I know the Eagles are pretty good at SoFi. Over the courts, but something's telling me like the Chargers are going to win this game. I think the Chargers are the better team right now. I think I can trust their offense a lot more than the Eagles do right now. And yes, I do think the Eagles are by far. I mean, I'm not gonna say by far, but I do think the Eagles are the better defensive team here. I'm just not feeling the Eagles, man. I just don't know how I can go into this game and just really trust their offense to go out there and win the game for them. It's just bad play calling. I don't know what it is, but Philadelphia Eagles, they just look a little bit off. They look completely off to last year. Yeah, they look completely off, but their offense looks a little off from last year. So I'm going to lean towards LA for this reason. Justin Herbert should be playing this game. Hampton should be playing this game for the Chargers. I know the Chargers are banged up in the offensive line, and that could be an advantage for Philadelphia because maybe they get after the quarterback that way and do some things on defense here. But I'm just trying to figure out ways that I can trust the Eagles and win this game with their offense, and I just can't. Like the offensive ways for me, it's like heavily Chargers. So especially with Justin Herbert, which we do know for a fact now that he's going to be playing in this game. So that part of me is like, okay, yeah, I got to go with the Chargers to win this game. So I'm going to take with 23-20. Another game I can see going either way. I think we have a lot of field goal games this week. So yeah, I'm going to lean toward the Chargers with this one. But like I said, this one could go either way. I can see Saquon having a day here, but even he's been inefficient. Jalen Hurts has not been consistent. AJ Brown. Now the Eagles have the receivers like they absolutely go off in the Chargers. But like I said, I don't trust the offense. I don't trust the play calling. I don't trust anything that they're doing on offense. So going with the Chargers. I trust them as a team. I trust them a little bit more than I do in the Eagles right now. I'm going to take the over 40.5 because I do think that's a little bit too low for me to pick the under here. You have two good teams battling it out. It's Monday Night Football in LA. Both teams should be able to score. I just feel like both teams should be able to score enough points to hit the over there. And then Chargers plus 3.5. Not surprised that they're underdogs in this game, but if this game, like I said, kind of like Houston in Kansas City, if this game was in Philly, I would lock the Eagles because the Chargers are terrible on the road, but it's in LA, so I'll take the Chargers to win it. But like I said, that's going to go ahead and do it for my analytics predictions for week 14. Like I said, you guys are here every single Thursday afternoon with this video, giving you guys awesome NFL content. So like I said, if you guys haven't already, make sure to go check out our pick show from yesterday. I really would do to appreciate everybody's support. But anyway, I'm gonna hop out of here, get the tickets so you guys can watch it on time. Enjoy your Thursday night football game for tonight. Like I said, it could be live for tonight. It's a Thursday night football game, and I will see you guys there hopefully. And in the next video, guys. Appreciate everybody's support. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is BigManNation.com. Peace out. Stay safe, Motor Nation, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you then.